Hey everyone, this is Amber Key, and you're listening to a Bright Idea podcast, a show where I sit down with entrepreneurs to discuss the aha moments that launched their businesses. Our guest today is Claudius Taylor, the founder and CEO of Gambix, a technology company at the forefront of dual-use AI products and digital services for government and enterprise clients. With deep expertise in product development, business strategy, and AI integration, Claudius is leading the creation of Strata, an AI-powered UX optimization platform designed to help businesses boost their user engagement, increase conversions, and make smarter, data-driven decisions. His mission is clear: solve complex challenges with innovative, scalable technology. In this episode, Claudius Taylor talks about how he went from building a computer at the age of 7 to leading a tech company that leverages AI for web development. We chat about his early passion for technology, his experiences in venture capital, and the founding of Gambix. Claudius chats with us about the importance of teamwork, leadership, and the role of AI in simplifying tech development for non-technical users. He also shares insights on maintaining a work-life balance and the significance of networking in achieving success. Before we dive in, if you love what we're doing here at A Bright Idea Podcast, help us keep going. You can subscribe to this show to get notifications when new episodes drop. If you like what you hear, share the episode with someone who needs a little inspiration. And if you'd like to support the show directly, you can donate to our Cash App at A Bright Idea Podcast. Lastly, if you're a business owner or a brand looking to connect with our growing audience, we'd love to collaborate with you. You can sponsor an ad within one of our episodes or sponsor an entire episode. Just reach out to us to learn more information. Now let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Claudius Taylor, founder of Gambix. Claudius Taylor, thanks so much for coming to A Bright Idea. How are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. Thank you all so much for having me.
Yes, I'm super excited to have you on the show. You are a serial entrepreneur. I've done so much research on the countless businesses that you have, as well as the blogs that you have created to help entrepreneurs find funding. And so I'm really excited to get into it today. But before we start, I want the listeners to get to know you a little bit outside of who you are, as outside of being an entrepreneur. So if you would you like to play a little game with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, it's rapid fire. So here we go. When you're not building several businesses, what can people find you doing?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm playing soccer. It's my favorite sport. So playing soccer,
Okay.
shooting hoops with friends.
Have you played soccer your whole life?
Yeah, I played my whole life.
All right, awesome. Soccer was my first sport until the 8th grade. And then the cross country coach saw that I could run. I was a midfielder, and he's like, you're going to run cross country. And then cross country became my sport. So I do have a love of soccer as well. I read one of the things that you love to do is watch tech CEOs public speak. That's something that we have in common. I love watching TED Talks, and I love watching CEOs and just tech giants speak, but getting into the mind of how they think is something that I really enjoy too. Do you have a favorite CEO or a founder that you admire?
Ooh, this is a good one. It's hard to say your favorite, right? Because these days everybody hates everybody's favorites, for one reason or another. Give me Marissa Mayer of Yahoo.
Okay, and why?
Very great CEO, took a business that, was experiencing some challenges, turned it completely around and made them thrive and relevant. So never that they were irrelevant, but that she did an excellent job of turning things around at the helm.
Okay, awesome. We love a female founder. Running a lot of businesses takes a lot of discipline. What do you think is your secret to why you've been so successful in starting and growing so many businesses?
I think because I was always disciplined as a kid, and now I feel like as an adult, I'm kind of trying to get back to that a lot of times. I'm just like, well, I'm older now. I can do a lot more things now with the success that I have and the opportunities. So I think staying disciplined is the biggest challenge. Being disciplined as a kid was the easy part.
Wow. Okay, we'll get into your background and being a kid in a minute, but I have 2 more questions for you. So
Sure.
What is your go-to when you hit a creative block?
Well, these days it's ChatGPT, right?
That's a good one.
Before that, music, it was always something that I really like to listen to. I love classical music, so just cut on some classical music, and then ideas just seem to fall out the sky.
Is classical music your preferred genre?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I like that. And what is your hot take on the tech world as it stands right now?
Tech world is going up. I think, we've got AI, we've got robots, we've got, artificial super intelligence on the way. It's like living in a Marvel movie. I'm enjoying it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for playing the game. I want to get into your background a bit, and you kind of alluded to this when we were playing Rapid Fire, but I want the listeners to know what you were like growing up. One of the things that I love to talk to entrepreneurs about on this show is kind of the journey, like not just talking about your business today, but we all started somewhere. And so I was reading and doing a little bit of research just about you in general. I read that you've always had a passion for technology, even as a young kid. And what I found really what stood out to me was this article that talked about how at the age of 7 you put together an entire computer with just a box of spare parts and whatever else you could find from yard sales. And then you went on to launch several ventures like a lawn care service and an eBay phone flipping business, all before the age of 14. First of all, I remember what I was doing at 7 and 14, and it wasn't that. So I just want to know, like, what was the draw first to building an entire computer and then venturing off into these other businesses?
I think on this podcast, I'm gonna be brutally honest. We've always got to say like the right answer, typically.
No,
And
you
like,
do not. You do not. This is a podcast where we are just having a conversation. So talk to me.
I've been unfiltered these days, so I'm gonna keep it going.
Love
So
it.
the
Keep
reason
it
why I
going.
built the computer at that young age, I would love to say it's because I had a great passion and the ingenuity was just stirring up inside me. But actually, there was a game called Backyard Football for all those that remember. Um, and
Yes.
me and my siblings, we wanted to play that game. We're like, where are we gonna play this game? We don't have anything to be able to do it with. And I was like, all right, well, always got to try and solve a problem. The problem is we don't have a computer. How do we get one? We can't
Okay.
go buy one because we don't have enough money to afford one.
Okay.
So that's why I started putting it together, taking my time, piece by piece, little by little. Got it working. We're playing black backyard football every single day. That turned into other games like Oregon Trail and all the big ones too. So just wanted to play some
Well, first
games.
of all, I have to pause because I love that you didn't give me the politically correct answer, what you think you thought I wanted to hear, and I love that you gave us the real, which was that you and your siblings wanted to play a game that I don't remember backyard football, but I did have backyard soccer, and I remember like it was a rite of passage if you had it, and like as a kid. Everyone had that game, and you guys wanted it. You couldn't afford it, so you decided to build a computer. But let's just like pause for a second because you decided to build a computer at 7 years old. How? And like we didn't have YouTube back then, so you couldn't go on YouTube University to look up how to build a computer. How did you figure it out?
That's a very good question. I'm surprised nobody ever asked me that. And all the time that everybody hears that story, they never said like, how did you go about it step by step? So spending a lot of time in electronic stores. So of course you had what's the one place that was like Best Buy, and then there was also this other Circuit City.
Radio Shack? Oh,
Nah,
Circuit
the
City,
Radio Shack is
yes.
before me. That's too old.
Oh, okay.
I've never even been inside of a
Maybe
Radio
I'm
Shack.
aging myself. Maybe I'm aging myself. Anyway, Circuit City. Yep, that's what it was. Okay.
Circuit City. So I'm in there. I used to look at the circulars that come in the newspaper. When my grandfather used to get the newspaper, he used to read the Washington Post. So there's a couple of things I'd be looking at in the Washington Post is the comics, seeing Spider-Man and Garfield and stuff like that. And then they had the little circulars for Circuit City. So I used to always like be intrigued by like, all the shiny electronics that's in there. Start
Yeah.
learning what each piece was by simply just asking my grandfather questions. My grandfather was a Navy engineer. Um, so learning a lot of stuff from him for about electrical components. My uncle as well was an electrical engineer as well. So just asking them a bunch of questions and then trying to figure it and piece things out myself. I'm like, okay, this is a motherboard. This is what RAM is. This is what storage is, and this is what a Pentium processor does, and just asking a bunch of like questions to like the folks that are way smarter than me, and then piecing
Okay.
it all together.
How long did it take to build the computer?
I'd say about 2 months. 2 weeks, two
Okay.
weeks, 2 weeks. I'm tripping. About 2 weeks.
Okay. And then at the end, were you able to play the games?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's so crazy. For the purpose of time, I'm gonna keep going, but I need to know. I still have so many questions. Okay, so growing up, what kind of kid were you? So, like from that story, I would assume that you were one that wanted to solve a problem, that you were constantly tinkering with things, and that you had sort of a background with your uncle and your grandfather who were also into technology too. But how do you think, if I brought them into this conversation right now, how do you think they would describe you?
It's interesting, right? They say I like to have fun. I was a very quiet kid. I was a very shy, reserved kid, but at the same time, like you could always find me outside playing, with my siblings or playing with my friends. I love to go outside. I love to play kickball. I love to just run around, play tag, freeze tag.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just anything that involved running around and getting some exercise.
So you are from Maryland, correct?
Born and raised.
Okay. And how many siblings do you have?
So besides me, there's three others, so it's four of us in total.
Okay. And what did you think you were going to be when you grew up?
A firefighter. I can say that without hesitation.
Why?
That's exactly what I wanted to be.
Really? What was it about firefighting that you wanted to do that?
Firefighters are really brave people. They're not afraid of anything, and I think that that really parallels to a lot of my skill sets. There's not really much in this world I'm afraid of, so running into a
Yeah.
burning building is not a problem for me.
No, I really love that. And one of the themes for this season, I really wanted to find entrepreneurs that were kind of going against the grain and disruptors, if you will, in your industry. And I think that a lot of that has to do with being fearless, and not so much being fearless, like not afraid of failure or not afraid to build something, but doing it scared. And I feel like there's an exact parallel with being a firefighter. You're going into homes and saving people with like with something on fire. So I love that answer. So tell me a little bit about, okay, so you go through elementary school, middle school, high school. Tell me about college and what was the career path that you kind of took once you got to college.
So I was always thinking about being a person that's gonna like do software development, software engineering. I imagine myself working at Google just because I heard that Google's got like a bunch of like food and stuff, and you got like a slide, and you could take
Yeah.
naps on the
All
third
the
floor
bells
once
and
your work
whistles,
is
right?
done.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like, who doesn't want to just go slide every day to go home from work? I don't think I was ever going to get tired of that. So Google was like
That's hilarious.
the number one target for me.
And so did you end up working for Google
I did
when
not
you
end up working
graduated?
for Google. I did end up getting some really good internships and end up working for a startup, med tech startup, and again to really use my skills there as a front end developer. That quickly turned into me becoming a solutions architect, just learning as much as I can on the job. So within 1 year, I got promoted. So I was really excited about that.
I was reading in some of your bio and your history that you also have a background in venture capitals and in investing. Am I correct in
That's
that?
absolutely true.
Yeah, and that's such an interesting profession, especially now. I think that venture capitals have really grown in awareness and popularity as there's so many entrepreneurs out there and people that need funding and also know how to access funding. How do you think that your experience in this field helped you in creating what we're about to get into, which is Gambix, your startup?
So I think that venture capital is a really interesting field for me. Because everybody's always asking me like, how'd you get into venture if you were a pure tech guy? Like, what happened? You didn't go to school for like business. Where's your MBA at? Um,
Yeah.
so no, that was never like my addition, like my original plan. It was something that became an addition to my life. I had an opportunity to learn under my mentor, who's Infiniso Ikong at Generator. I came in as an associate, soaked up everything as I could as a sponge. I was really intrigued by a lot of the things that, I watched, you know, investors, in my opinion, that I thought like, oh, this is what an investor does. This is Shark Tank and this and that. And then again, behind the
Yeah.
scenes, and understanding like, oh no, this is what an investor does. This is the day to day. This is what due diligence is. This is how, you scout and recruit and you go about your processes. And this is how you run a program, like an accelerator, and you start building these companies up. And this is how you build relationships and you start establishing these partnerships and working with entrepreneur support organizations. So it was like a lot of stuff that I was learning, and I was just like, I feel like I'm in school all over again. But at least now I can go directly to the teacher and ask any questions that I'm having as I'm taking notes.
Yeah. What is your exact role, or what was your exact role in venture?
Great, that was a great example. Great question actually. My role at that time was program associate, so I was helping with the facilitation of the actual accelerator program. So Unfiniso was running the program, and I was his assistant.
Okay. Now, I know a few people that work in venture, and it's a tough job. It's not for the weak. You're like you had just mentioned, you're learning a lot. You're also working with businesses and accelerating programs, trying to get them to where they need to be so that they could continue to get funding. Where do you find the time to then start your own business?
Well, I would say I started it before I got into venture. So, yeah, doing both is like it's kind of challenging if you had to be like really on top of every single thing at that time. But luckily for me, I had already started the business before I got into venture, so it was like a lot easier. And then of course you got teammates and everything like that. So when it's not a solo pursuit, it's a lot easier. But it just becomes a balancing act. I mean, everything in life is about balance. You just got to find time to do everything. For me personally, I feel like the people that I work with, they're just like me. Whether they're on the venture side or whether they're on the startup side, they're really just like me. I ask them all the time, like, hey, how do you do this? I love the way that you break this down. They're like, how do you do what you do? Because, like, you seem like you got, like, 26 hours in the day while we all got 24. And I'm just like, I'm running on some type of new type of energy or something. But I'm extremely organized, extremely organized. And then on top of that, like, I love what I do. And I mean, like I said, all the people that I work with, they'll say the same thing. Even if they wanted to stop, I don't think they could.
When we come back, Claudius's lessons in discipline.
I was thinking the same thing that you had just mentioned of like, I think this guy has a secret sauce. He has 26 hours of the day, whereas all of us have 24. And sometimes I feel like I only have 8. How, you mentioned that you're super organized, you're disciplined, but I feel like we hear that all the time. Like, what do you think? Like, what is it? Like, what advice can you give people that are aspiring entrepreneurs that are working a 9 to 5 and a side hustle at the same time? Like, how are you doing it?
I'll give all my secrets, right? First and foremost, I got a really good skincare routine. I can't give no endorsements out to them because, like, they're not paying me just yet. So I gotta. If anybody wants to message me about that privately, we could talk about that. I can't do it on a live platform like this though. But I could give some tips on that. Really good skincare routine. Sleep. I've talked about this on other podcasts before. I sleep 8 hours a night. Everybody that's around me knows that. It kind of annoys them too. They're like, yeah, we know he needs his 8 hours of sleep. I do. I need my 8 hours of sleep. I get my 8 hours in. I drink a lot of water. Can't really endorse no water specifically, but you know what this stuff is. But drink a lot of water, at least 3 liters a day, minimum. I work out a lot. So even if it's going for a run in the evening, is the greatest free exercise you can ever get. If you're like, I couldn't make it to the gym, just go outside for 20 minutes, go for a run. It clears your mind. Just leave your phone inside. Actually, don't leave your phone. Maybe a safety thing. Keep your phone with you, but just don't be on your phone. Go for a run. It clears your mind. It allows you to just be out there with nature. I do that. What else do I do? I got like a lot of project management tools. So I use project management tools even on my own personal life. So think Asana.
Can you mention any of those? Yeah.
Asana,
okay, so Asana.
ClickUp.
Okay.
Yeah, ClickUp is my favorite though.
I'm not familiar with ClickUp. How does that work?
So ClickUp is like Asana if Asana had even more features.
Okay.
Some people like Monday.com as well.
And you use this in your personal life too?
Yeah, so I run my personal life in ClickUp. just like it's a project.
Here I'm thinking I'm doing something big in Google Calendar, but you're over here talking about another platform that is basically running your whole life. Okay, so I need to give that one a try. Is it free or do I have to pay for it?
ClickUp is completely free.
All right, we'll be downloading that after this interview. So wait, so backing up to water, sleep, skincare, exercise, running, I'm going to speak for myself, and I hope that there are listeners listening right now that can kind of resonate with this. But as somebody who has a business and a 9 to 5, and I also have a social life, like I have a lot of friends that I want to see. I live in DC. There's a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
How do you block your time, or do you? I will admit I have FOMO. Like, do you not have that?
I live by
He's
my
saying
calendar.
no. For the people that are listening, he's like shaking his head like, no, girl, I don't.
No, I don't.
tell-
I don't. I don't. So there's an app that I use called Humanity. It's another one that I would say, like, that's another one of my secrets. I use an app called Humanity. Humanity
Okay.
actually checks in with me every morning and makes sure that I fast. It makes sure that I eat enough meals in the day, which I eat 5 meals throughout the entire day. They're smaller. But I do eat breakfast. I eat like a mid-breakfast, a lunch, like a smaller snack, a dinner, and then like a post-dinner meal replacement thing before 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So
And
eating
that's
is
what-
like on a schedule.
Okay. So we just need to get on schedules and limit our distractions. That's your.
No
That's your
social media
advice.
though. Like everybody on my IG that hates me because I'm never on IG. So if you message me on IG, everybody knows it might take me quite a while to respond. Text messaging too. I'm really slow when it comes to text because I'm like always like in focus time.
Okay.
So the best way to reach me is if you catch me like I might just reply to like a bunch of text messages on like a whim. But everybody just calls me.
So when do you hang out with your friends?
Usually on the weekends. Saturdays I don't do any work at all.
Okay.
I never do any
All right,
work
and
on Saturdays.
And so this is working for you.
Yeah, this is work.
I love it. I love
But
it.
work.
When we return, how Claudius built Gambix.
Getting back into your business, I want to talk about Gambix, the exciting part, the reason that you're here. So you
Yep.
founded Gambix in 2019. Am I right about that date?
Yep.
And while you were also working in venture capital, what was it? What is Gambix, first of all? And then what inspired you to start it?
Absolutely. So Gambix is a technology company that was already using artificial intelligence even before ChatGPT, right? We were already working on neural networks. We were already thinking about what the future of web was going to look like. We were always shaping the future of web. It's just a SaaS company. I liken it to Intuit, like what Intuit did in trying to transform the world of finance and then gave you TurboTax and then started building out their systems further with MailChimp and started going from there. So we're doing the same thing, except we only have one singular product and we provide managed services that involve AI augmentation. So that's
Okay.
exactly what Gambix does. It's just a tech company that provides AI services to folks, and then also a productized solution that we'll talk about in a little bit as well.
What made you start it?
I think it was the need for a lot of people that I was already doing freelance work for. They were telling me like, hey, I want my website to do more than just look good. I wanted to actually convert people. I wanted to come up when people Google it. I want people to be able to get what they need from what I'm offering. I want to be able to grow my business so I can do X, Y, and Z things. And I started realizing it was one of the biggest pain points for not just independent business owners, but for marketers as well. They're like, I'm using this tool, and I'm looking at heat maps and Google Analytics and this dashboard and that dashboard. And I'm like, yeah, I can relate. The more clients you get, it seems like you're going crazy looking at all this data for every single client that you have. So then we started realizing that there has to be a better way to do all of these things. We don't need 15 dashboards. On our Shopify stores, we shouldn't be using 20 plugins to be able to accomplish what we need to accomplish. So that's when we started to build the company out and start designing smart websites for people to begin with that were already having like SEO optimization right out the gate, and then finding different ways to do conversion rate optimization or CRO to help people gain even more business. So once we started seeing some of our customers started making more money and getting some of these results, they start referring us to a lot of other people word of mouth, and we're able to do all of the numbers that we've been able to do thus far with zero marketing. So
That's amazing.
I learned that's impressive in the VC world, because they're like, you've been able to do over 50K ARR with no marketing. Yeah, we have.
Yeah, and that's so you were doing freelance. You were basically building websites for clients,
Yep.
and you were working with entrepreneurs. What areas of entrepreneurs were you working with?
Yeah, so working with a lot of people in a couple of different fields, right? In music, also folks that were doing like movies, talent, folks that were working on like cosmetics and beauty, other folks that had their own clothing stores and clothing brands, and then also the biggest niche that we've already been working on is home services.
Okay. And so for the people that aren't super techie, basically what the need was that entrepreneurs wanted people to come to their websites, and they wanted to drive traffic to their website, or they wanted them to take an action, which was to either buy something, engage with the website, to basically grow revenue for the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and with the tools that you were using prior, before you created your own, were you using like Wix and Shopify and like Squarespace and all of the ones that everyone knows to
Yeah, the
build
popular
websites
ones.
for people? The popular
popular
ones.
ones.
Yeah. When I was in grad school, I took a web design class where we had to build our own websites, and it was WordPress, and we were
WordPress, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like a 6-week crash course where I was doing coding, and it was the most frustrating thing because the website ended up it looked like Web 2.0. It didn't even look like a legit site. So I'm really fascinated by Gambix, and so what I was reading too is that you're redefining digital experiences, not just in websites, but apps, and using cutting edge AI and dynamic interfaces. So you're essentially building not just websites, but like any platform that an entrepreneur wants in real time. Is that correct?
That's absolutely true. I think the grand vision of what we're trying to get to is like we want the websites to come alive. We want the whole web to be interactive. We want it to be as interactive as all of the other things that you see around you. We want to bring Netflix to the web space. We want websites to interact with people just as much as people interact with the websites.
So when you say that and you're talking about real time, are you saying that essentially somebody can use your platform to build a website in a matter of seconds or minutes?
Absolutely. But I'll take it even a step further, right? The website itself will continue to grow and learn from the people that are coming to the website. And then also in the future be able to change itself without the need of hiring like an engineer or hiring somebody on a freelancer platform. Your website will say to you, hey, I've just watched 1,000 people look at this dress. This is the one that we need to feature on the homepage, and I'm going to help you sell it.
So essentially you don't need someone to do website maintenance for you anymore.
Absolutely not.
That's crazy. Okay, so you told me how you came up with this idea, and you told me a little bit about how it works. How did you build this?
That's a good one. So,
Or can you not say that? Is it like a secret?
I know I feel
formula?
like our attorney is gonna like throw me out of a window or something because it's a long story. I was talking to one of my colleagues today about the same thing, and I was just telling him, and he's like, "Yeah, we're supposed to be pushing all this stuff like to this, like yeah, all right." You know, we got to make sure.
I feel like
stay
it's
with
like the
compliance.
Krusty Krab formula of like SpongeBob or something. Like no one can actually know the truth.
Yeah. I can't tell you exactly how we do it from like a
no worries.
proprietary standpoint, but everything that's non-proprietary is just from the design aspect. It's like a system that allows people to prompt to website, right? That's one of the products that we already had. And one of the products that we've been demoing, like I said, long before ChatGPT and long before Wix Studio. 3 years ago, I showed this to Accenture. I showed this to Amazon. I said, "Look, this is the future right here." And they were like, "Nah. People want to still drag and drop. They want to drag and drop." And I'm like, "Nah, they don't." And then ChatGPT comes out.
So you pitched this to like Amazon and to what'd you say before?
Accenture. I had a meeting with somebody from Accenture and somebody from Amazon as well.
And they essentially were like, not yet. The world is not ready for this yet.
Yeah, they said people were just gonna drag and drop. There was no need for it.
What a challenge, but what a blessing at the same time. Because I feel like if you were to pitch that to them, they would have ran with it, and that would have been your idea that you wouldn't have necessarily gotten credit for. I mean, am I right? Or
Nah, I wouldn't say it's that malicious on Amazon or Accenture side. I think that I'm gonna do them a solid and say that I think that this is where, as entrepreneurs, like, you don't know what you don't know, because I
yeah,
was a young polished entrepreneur, but I didn't have all the jargon and everything like that at that time just yet. I
okay,
just was a tech person that had already sold a successful startup, and now I'm coming to them with, hey, like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, trust me, I got the touch. I got the foresight for this. This is it. And
okay,
I mean, most people that are mid-career and you're senior level at Accenture or you're senior level at Amazon, of course they're gonna say, okay, we believe in innovation and the youth and everything like that. But then they're also like, this could just be a very nice animation. Is this really prompt to website? What's really going on here? But we never got to that technical due diligence with them for them to really see like what we really had. And I think
okay.
that was the part that I could have pushed a little bit more for and said, hey, like, I'm gonna keep banging these drums until somebody hears me.
Okay. And so now, as it stands, you do have clients that are using your platform.
Yep.
How do the packages work? And like what are you able to say like a price point for someone that's interested in working with Gambix?
Yeah, these days we do it on a more like white glove, one-to-one type of basis where we allow people to come in, we give them a price quote, we show them exactly what we could do for them, and we customize things really around their business. I think Gambix is always evolving, and that's what I love about it the most, and it's going to continue to evolve, even as we announce more partnerships in the future, because we have some really, really great partnerships coming up that we're getting ready to announce. And some really, really big moments that are coming up, like our private beta for Strata that's coming up. Strata is the tool that I was mentioning that's going to do all that auto maintenance for you.
Awesome.
We've been pitching it closed doors to a couple of different folks and showing them how this AI agent really works and how it's going to be able to really move autonomously. And that's coming up within the next month. So that's a really exciting thing. And I never really told nobody about it before, but I'm saying it here first. Like, we are going to a closed beta next month, and I'm so excited for people to get in on that. So I think we're evolving in terms of how we're going to package everything for how we
Yeah.
can best deliver these services to people who may already have a website or do not have one and need to get, right out the gate.
Being that your background is in venture capital, did you are you self-funded or did you raise capital for Gambix?
I'm bootstrapped. So it's surprising that people are like, oh, like, don't you know everybody in venture? I'm just like, hold on, conflict of interest. But
Oh, okay. I didn't even think about that.
it's well, maybe not conflict of interest, but at the same time there's strategic usages of times to use certain things to your advantage or certain pull certain levers. For us, we're bootstrapped because we've always been profitable since inception. Our company has been growing at a steady clip. We've got really good margins in terms of how we've been growing. We've got really good, healthy MRR that's continually to grow at a good percentage rate. And we have a continually growing annual recurring revenue that's growing in the right way as well. Our customer acquisition costs are super low. Churn is almost non-existent. So we have all of the metrics that you have when you're trying to deem what does a successful SaaS company look like or what's a successful company look like. All of those metrics are going our way. We hope that they keep going our way, knock on wood. Uh, but we're doing things strategically to make sure that that's in place. We do actually want to raise capital. I will publicly say this now too. We do
Yeah.
want to raise capital, and we are in the process of finalizing the documents and everything that we'll need, and also finalizing our data room pieces so that we can go on to raise capital. We will be raising.
One of the things about a bright idea is that it's not just so that people who are aspiring entrepreneurs can listen to it and be inspired, but it is for people that are out there that are interested in investing in businesses, can learn more about businesses and know that there are opportunities to help fund it. So I'm glad that you said that you guys are still looking for capital. You mentioned that business is going in the right direction, metrics wise and funding wise. But what do you think is a decision that you made early on that is the reason that you guys are in the right direction in terms of growth?
Oof, this is a good one, but I'll go with the added notion of hire slow, fire fast. I've always been a person that's try to find A players, people that are passionate, people that are way smarter than me, way talented than me, more driven than me, and those are the type of people I've always been inspired by. So and I bring them onto the team. So we are a small but mighty team, and everybody here is extremely talented, extremely driven, and they have a great growth mindset. They're always getting better and better and better. So for me, I always feel like, wow, I just watched what she did. I gotta up my game as the CEO, or I watched what he did, and I love that. Like, hey, can you teach me that skill? Let's cross train. Let's collaborate. Let's continue to uplift each other. So the team dynamics are amazing, and I think that part is what set us apart, was building the right team, even if it took longer, and getting the right people in the right seats, and then also ultimately walking away from some situations that weren't conducive for either side, and wishing those folks the best and helping them out wherever I could to help them get their next opportunity.
One thing that you mentioned that I really love, and you've said it before when we talked, was finding people that are just as passionate about your product as you are. And I find that to be so rare, but you were able to find it, and that is why you said it's one of the earlier decisions that you made that's a contribution to how successful you guys have been. How did you come up with that? How did you find that you needed to find people that loved Gambix just as much as you did? And where do you find those people?
I would say because the truth is you get drained when you don't have it. You kind of feel like you're pushing up the boulder up the hill by yourself, and you feel alone. You feel like, wow, I'm doing all this work, I'm tired, and that's how you know you don't have the right people. Because if you have a team around you, you all should be equally pushing. If you all are tired, you're tired collectively. If you're frustrated collectively. The team shares a lot of the same modus operandi when it comes to we're all rowing in one direction, because we're trying to get across the shore. So if everybody's rowing, everybody should be tired, or everybody should be in great shape after they after you get to the shore at least. So that's what I would say is the easiest tell for if you have the right people or not, is do you feel burnt out despite the fact you're supposed to be sharing the workload?
Stay tuned. After this break, Claudius and I get into the user experience of Gambix.
I want to talk a little bit about the user experience for Gambix. How can entrepreneurs practically use Gambix to streamline or grow their businesses?
Great example would be using Gambix in terms of managing their SEO, and then also their search engine optimization so that they can rank higher, and then also using Gambix in terms of conversion optimization as well. So if they do already have websites, or they're a startup that wants customers and wants traction and wants to validate their ideas, building it on Gambix's platform is the easiest, because I always say, like, you're getting all the things right out the gate, and you can validate your startup idea already coming in with the SEO done, already coming in with it tracking everything that's going on with a lot of the people that are coming to your site. Or, if you're coming to us after the fact, is having us quickly implement these things, and they don't take long to implement. We can do this in a single hour, implementing these systems into your business that will allow you to start seeing immediate results. We've been able to boost a lot of local businesses just by them implementing some of our strategies.
Are there specific businesses that you think could benefit most from using Gambix?
Yeah, home services for sure. If you're like HVAC, roofing, any type of home improvement, for sure, you're gonna see we can get you all the leads you can handle when it comes to like pushing a lot of traffic to those people who they thrive on that. They need their phone ringing, and people dropping lines to their websites and saying, hey, I need siding done, or I need this electrical component done, or I do need roofing services. Those people, they thrive off the leads, and I know they spend a lot of effort to try and get those leads. So we make it a lot easier for them to get it anybody that's in e-commerce as well, if you want a competitive edge against the other people that are all selling their designer jeans that they made themselves, homemade, you can go to Etsy and you could try to compete with the world, or you can allow us to optimize your website and help you rank, locally, and get a lot of people locally supporting your specific business. And I tell people all the time, look, stop competing with the world. You could become a millionaire by just capturing your local city. Be the number one person in your city, and you might become a millionaire on that alone. So take
I love
SEO
that.
seriously.
No, SEO is so important, and I don't think that people understand that. And people that are listening to this and watch me every single week on this show, I have a podcast, and it may look like I'm pretty technically savvy, but I'm not. What about the businesses that, for the non-technical entrepreneurs, how does Gambix simplify tech development?
That's a great example. I think that a lot of folks that are non-technical, we can help them simply because most of the customers that we work with, they're not technical folks. I think very few people that come to us are super technical and they're just like, yep, I want this, this, and this, and this. Most people come to us with like a blank slate. They're like, hey, look, I just started my new food truck. I need to get people to this food truck on Georgia Avenue, and I need them to start supporting me. And I'm like, no problem. We're going to do this thing called local search engine optimization for you. And we're going to make sure that anytime somebody types food truck in Northwest DC, or even food truck in Northwest DC in the same combo, knows that you are there. And here's your address, and here's how to get in touch with you. We're also going to do this thing called Google My Business. And it's going to help you, rank higher. I mean, of course, certain things work better for different people, right? So folks that have like textile manufacturing companies that have used this with Google My Business services have seen booms and stuff like that. But that's just an example of how non-technical people can come to us and say, hey, how can you help me? Well, we can run ads for you. We can help you rank higher. We have a social media team that we can, bring on as well. We have partners that do UI, UX, and other people that do other things that we don't do, because we don't do everything. We're really, really good at web development. We're really, really good at SEO, really good at AI implementation, because I've been doing machine learning for quite a while. I understand everything about AI agents and AI and how to implement it and how to make it work better for you, and we can do all that. But for some of the other things that lay outside of our purview, we do have really good partnerships that we've developed over the past couple of years that we would go to and say, hey, I can't help you do this, but I do know someone who's excellent at it, and this is all they do. So we've built domain expertise in specific areas, and we always wanted to highlight that. We're not just another web development shop that's going to build you a website. Anybody could do that. We're building you a website that actually can make you money and can convert. That's our specialty. If you just want a website, you can go anywhere.
Yeah. You're taking the tediousness out of out of what it means to like run a business and to build a website. I think that people that are listening are like, oh my gosh, finally somebody that can help me do all the things I don't want to do. And I don't have to pay somebody to maintain my website, which is another overhead cost too. But I'm curious, have you received any pushback for using AI instead of human developers?
No, haven't received any just yet, but it might be coming as we scale.
Okay.
It might be coming as we scale, but I always say and it's funny because I talk to a lot of agencies myself too. Agencies, we're not cannibalizing each other. I'm always about collaboration. I look to work with a lot of agencies as much as possible, especially when it comes to doing bigger projects or specific specialized types of projects, especially like a cybersecurity firm that I know. Say, hey, I got this project. What do you think about this? And I know y'all do cyber as well, so let's talk about. But just to answer the question more directly, no, I don't worry about it, only because we don't really look to replace humans. Our AI agent in Strata is more so a companion. It's more so about, hey, Amber, I've redesigned your entire website. Here's what it looks like. And even though, yes, you could have paid a freelancer $5,000 to do this for you, I just did it for you. What do you think about it? And if you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, then you could still take it to the freelancer and say, hey, the Strata agent already did it for me. This Gambix tool already did it for me. And can you just have a look at it? And it's like having a lawyer actually do all the work for you, or just saying, hey, lawyer, I've already drafted this document on ChatGPT. Can you just review it and charge me less than what you would have charged me? So I think that's what the engagements will look like when it comes to Strata being in the wild and doing things, And then the freelancers themselves are going to use it too. They're literally going to charge people and say, hey, I'll build your website for you and do all the SEO stuff. Just pay me $5,000. And then they're going to go use Strata and do it in an hour and then still charge you $5,000. So I feel like nobody's really losing.
I feel like there's always going to be a human element to
Yeah.
it. Like you can't rely on AI for everything. There has to be some human engineering happening behind the scenes. I was wondering, like, what role and you kind of alluded to this, but what role do humans still play when building apps through Gambix?
Yeah, so it's really about that checks and balances. It's making sure that the AI is still accomplishing what you want, because AI is not always right. So Strata may tell you like, let's redesign your entire homepage. It's going to lead to 58% more customers, and you can say, well, I like the way that my homepage looks, and you could just tell it, don't do it. Or there's times where people who are experts in their field, like a marketing manager, might say, hey, I know that this possibly could lead to 30% more conversion, but at the same time, this website wasn't designed for this specific purpose. We're going to leave like this information where it's at because this is the message that we're trying to get across. So there's always going to be checks and balances in design versus conversion.
I want to talk to you about your leadership style because you have built such a great team, which has contributed to some of your success, or to a lot of your success. But how would you describe your leadership style?
Yeah, I'm a George Washington type. I like to get in there with the troops. I like to rally. I like to get everybody excited. I like to lead by example. That's what I do. And then also, I'm learning from my late, great uncle that just passed. Servant leadership is also very important as well. It's making sure that, you always remain, at the service of all the other people that rely on you, not just from your teammates and your colleagues, but also the people that come to you with their hopes and their dreams, knowing that every last dollar that they're giving you, they're hoping that you can then help them realize the vision that they've always had, and is near and dear to their hearts. So I feel like for me, I'm living on my purpose every single day of the week. On VC side of things, I'm making people's dreams come true with being able to invest in them and give them the opportunity to gain investment and transform generations. And then also with Gambix, you're helping them build out their dreams from an infrastructure standpoint. So they're like, I've always had this one idea. Well, this is me helping them get out that one idea.
Yeah. You have a very unique perspective being on both sides of the business. How has your identity shaped how you show up as a founder, or how you've built your team?
I think it's an environment where people know that, and this is actually a good way to tie in childhood as well, right? They know I'm that rough and tough kid that can, roll with the punches. I don't cry about the bruises and the boo-boos and all that stuff, and I'm playing all the sports and everything like that, and I don't want to go in until the street lights are on. Like, that's me. I'm always going to be there all day, all the time, and always show up and be ready to go, like, to the max. But there's also the other side of me that understands, like, that's not sustainable always, right? So there's a time for rest, and there's a more compassionate, empathetic side to me that I think my team gets to see a lot, that maybe I don't always show in my day-to-day, because I'm just like, this is what we got to do. This is the goals. There's the metrics. Here's the KPIs. This is what we're targeting. We got to keep going. We're on track. We're off track. I'm so, like, rote and methodical. But then there's times where I'm just like, hey, you're not feeling good today. Take the day off. Don't kill yourself. Relax. Or, hey, we're ahead of schedule. I want y'all to take this Friday off. We're not working this Friday. Go enjoy, spend some time with your family. Or somebody will reach out to me and say, hey, Claudius, I know that I was supposed to, but it's all good. Let's reschedule. It's more of that flexibility, understanding that, people are people. We're not machines. We got to optimize the way that we work, not just try to, like, grind out as many hours as possible. So I look up to people like Tim Ferriss and stuff for that.
What has been, like, the biggest moment of validation for Gambix so far?
Oof. There's a lot of them. Techstars Founder Catalyst program. Getting to work with Audrey Gibson, and thank you to the folks at Stanley Black & Decker, Upsurge team, Corey, and all of the folks over there, Jamie McDonald, even taking it further back. I think those are the moments that I'll always cherish. Being at the Equitech Tuesdays, having the opportunity to meet Jonas Pavot, who's at Circle now, but when he was at New Chip, that was really, life changing. That's somebody I consider a good friend even to this day. Having the opportunity to be considered like for big opportunities like launch and meeting Jason Calcanis, and Jason just frankly saying like he loves what we're building. I think that those moments of validation really do mean a lot. Being mentored by Sergio Marrero from Blue Ridge, I think this is really, Robin Hood. It's really, it's
awesome.
those are the moments that I never really take for granted. And then also people like Mike, my mentor now, that, have been looking out for me.
What do you think success looks like for you, like at this stage of your journey?
It's got to be an exit. I think at this point, anything less than that is just not, it's not acceptable. It's got to be an exit. It's got to be big.
An exit, what do you mean?
Absolutely. So I think either Gambix will be acquired, or we will have the opportunity to be able to IPO. I'm leaning more towards acquisition than I would IPO in terms of what do I think is the most likely event. I do believe it's going to be an acquisition.
Are you a vision board person? Like, are you like in 3 or 5 years this business will be acquired, or are you just seeing where things go?
No. I definitely have a strategic plan on how to get there and how to be acquired and who I think would be a great partner for Gambix in that M&A process. And then also, of course, I have it all mapped out on a Miro board.
Love that. I'm the same way. For people that are, in the beginning I talked to you about disruption, people that are going against the grain. You'd mentioned that when you were younger building that computer, you didn't have the platform to be able to play the game you wanted, so you went and fixed it or made one on your own. For people that are looking to do the same thing, that don't have the resources that you've been able to gain, or have the fear that maybe you didn't have, like, what is your advice to them?
I would say you've always got to believe that, you are the difference. I think you always have to tell yourself that every single day of the week, between you and your goals, there is a gap, and you are the difference to be able to cover that gap, right? Even if nobody's going to come to your rescue, because they probably won't. But at the same time, I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed. And most people tell you I'm the most luckiest person that they know. And that's good for me. I'll take that. Because at the same time, what they don't see behind that luck is all the times that, Mike is on me, or Michelle, who I just met with this morning, is telling me, hey, or Latoya Staten is telling me, like, hey, that's the type of things that are priceless. You can always start over. It doesn't matter where you're at right now. You could say, well, I don't have the network. I don't have this. Well, then just start over. Just start building it. Go to that, happy hour. Go to that networking event. Do it afraid. Do it completely afraid. My cousins think I'm nuts because I'm like, I can go anywhere, any country. Well, maybe not any country. That's kind of wild. I gotta be careful. I'm still like, any country is kind of crazy, but any state, like anywhere, and just go alone.
Yeah.
Talk to people. Experience new cultures. It is scary, but I think doing the things that have made me afraid are all the reasons that made me more successful as well. So do it while you're scared.
I love that, because you never know what's on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
If you just did it. Is there anything that I haven't asked you during this interview that you would like to add as we wrap up?
I would say that your network is going to probably be the most important thing that you ever have. Like you said, it's the friendships. It's the people that are going to continue to be rooting for you. It's during those hard days, who can you pick up your phone and call? Some people say, like, I don't got nobody to call. Well, I've been there. And I tell you, most of the time it's just in your head. There's always somebody that you can call. But you got to start appreciating the people that are in front of you. So many times a lot of people want validation from a lot of people that really just don't matter. And not matter because they're not exceptional people themselves, but they don't matter because they're not supporters of your mission anyway. You only got supporters, neutral folks, and detractors. You got to focus on the people that are right there in front of you. So many times where like you got somebody that's out there like, oh, you're the best, you're the greatest, Amber. And Amber's like, but wait, you, the one that was doubting me. Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. There's so many people that love you and want to pour into you. Pour back into those people. It'll make life so much more fun and more enriching.
I know the listeners just heard that, and they probably have goosebumps because I do, because I feel like you were speaking directly to me. I'm definitely somebody I don't feel like I need validation from everybody, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, but that hater over there, though, what does she think now? And like, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. So thank you for that. But where can people find you and find out about Gambix to support you?
Absolutely. So you can go to gambixit.com to connect with us and to learn about more services or get services if you need them. We also are pushing out a brand new product, like I said, in Strata that's going to be available in closed beta. So if you're interested in that, please go on the website, go to the contact us form and just say, hey, I want to be a part of that beta. Let me try this out because I want to crush everybody on Shopify before they know what hit them. So definitely do that. You can always connect with me on LinkedIn. It's my name on LinkedIn, so you can just search me on LinkedIn and you'll find me. Always happy to talk, always happy to chat, always happy to do anything. I will give y'all my number so y'all can call me directly, but I can't even reply to half my LinkedIn messages, so my number my phone might blow up too much too.
We'll just have them reach you on LinkedIn, and hopefully they get to you. But thank you so much. This was awesome, and best of luck to everything. And I feel like we'll chat again because we have a lot of similarities, and I'm just really excited to see where Gambix goes. So thank you.
Absolutely. And I also say you guys can connect with me also, like personally on Instagram as well. It's just THEE and then my first name Claudius. So just the Perfect. Claudius on Instagram.
Awesome. We'll put all of that in the description of the episode. Claudius, thanks so much. Take care and best of luck with everything.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for this week's episode of A Bright Idea Podcast. Today's guest was Claudius Taylor, the founder and CEO of Gambix, a technology company at the forefront of dual-use AI products and digital services for government and enterprise clients. You can support Claudius and what he's doing at Gambix by going to his website at gambixit.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring more stories like Claudius's. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at A Bright Idea Podcast for updates. And if there's a topic or a guest you'd like to hear from next, drop us a message. If you'd like to support our show directly, you can donate to our Cash App at A Bright Idea Podcast. This show was edited by myself, and all social media was handled by my social media manager, Shekinah Henderson. Until next time, I'm Amber Key.